like doing weights, this microphone actually, but I've agreed to hold it, so I will. So I hope you like this picture I have on my visual slides here. I am going to describe it and read it. A philosophical lecture on perambulating chairs in both past and futuristic contexts. And at the bottom it says, 2 legs good, on wheels bad, which I hope many of you know is a little nod towards animal farm. Thank you very much. So really, just to bring that into the everyday vernacular, I'm going to do a little potted history of the wheelchair, but with a particular focus on the representation of such things in science fiction. And the opening picture, can you all see who it is?
Yeah.
Come on, who is it? It's a man on a kind of steampunk contraption. It is the one and only Kev Towner, honestly. What are you wearing there, Kev? Showing off this amazing vehicle. It's like a kind of First World War, I don't know, what do you call it? Sort of helmet thing? Kev?
Yes, it's like a German Second World War helmet, but with motorcycle, old-fashioned motorcycle.
Yes, he's got old-fashioned motorcycle. I thought that would be a nice way to start this little presentation, because me and Kev often have these, what we like to call, amongst ourselves, mass debates. Yes, we often say, oh yes, let's have a Sunday morning mass debate. So this is my mass, yeah, we got there, on this topic. So next slide, please. Oh look, is that really Confucius on wheels? Now this is a real picture. It's done in a sort of ancient, basic Chinese style. And it shows an elderly gentleman in what looks like a kind of ornate wheelbarrow. We're going to get onto wheelbarrows in a moment. And this identifies what is possibly the earliest representation of a person in a wheelchair. Now there is debate. I'm just going to get to my notes for this. There's some debate about when the first wheelchair was devised or created, but we do feel that generally the Chinese did develop the idea of wheels on chairs, perambulating chairs, and they were developed from wheelbarrows, which I suppose is something, if we're talking about the development of technology of wheelchairs. Yes, we've moved a wheelbarrow. I also want to say there wasn't enough time to squeeze all these amazing pictures in, but there were sedan chairs. There is the issue of a litter, or, and I hope I've got this right, a palanquin. Do you know that term, a palanquin? It's what, like, the Queen of Egypt would be carried around on one of these beasts. And I've been living in St Leonard's for 2 years, and I love it. I've been associated with the area for 10 years. I would love to have a palanquin to go on the beach, please. Yeah. And more on that later. So if we say that we say the Chinese invented such things, you can say. But moving on to slide 3. I haven't got enough hands here. And it is very important that I describe these slides. I hope you all know why. So this is a picture on the left. This is King Philip II of Spain in a very strange chair on wheels, minute little wheelie things. But he's the first very posh person. I should tell you what the slide says. Early chairs used by old posh men with lots of money and privilege. Because the irony is, a lot of these photos are of men with lots of money or privilege. So King Philip had all the usual stuff in the, can I read this now? 1595. And he had gout and other strange and exotic diseases that these types got. And it was called an invalid chair, or as we like to joke, an invalid chair, which I'm sure, you know. The other one is one of the first automated type chairs, where you can turn these sort of handles on it. It was owned by someone called, if I can find his name, Thomas Fairfax, who was born in 1612, and he was a parliamentarian, and he was the military leader of
Cromwell's army?
New Model Army! Yay! Up the Commonwealth. And it was noted that by his 50s he was confined to his wheelchair. But if you like, this did demonstrate a development in the wheelchair, not much of one. And it's interesting that the same sort of issue here is often about well, rich people can have them made, but even then, I do think that no one ever asked a person who needed a wheeling chair how it should work for them and what it should do. But now we come to Victorian. Have I got voices, or is it? Hello, the aliens are after me. But the funny thing is, it's coming from between my breasts, which is slightly unnerving. What was that, Mr. Town? It's being smutty. So this slide is an inventory of invalids. Now the term invalid, which of course has really died out, thank God, because it is based on the sense of invalid. The Victorians loved it, and we have to give them some merit that they did make a bit of a contribution to the development of perambulating on wheels, and they moved the technology forward from the likes of Philip and Thomas. And I'm going to read out, hopefully, what it says on these. The picture on the left is like a kind of motorised looking chair with 3 wheels, metal wheels, and it says, a new self-activating invalid carriage for invalids afflicted with paralysis or some other ailment which prevents them from walking. A handy little carriage has been invented by Mr. George King of Madras Place, Holloway Road, London. It can be propelled by the person sitting in it by hand without requiring any assistance from his feet at a rate of 4 or 5 miles per hour. The accompanying figure illustrates the vehicle, which is propelled by the vertical double-handed lever, which sounds slightly dubious to me. The Victorians loved these kind of contraptions and created them by the thousand. But it's interesting to note that war that creates impairment or damage to the body, and wheelchairs continue to be called invalid chairs, and it flourished because of war and no NHS, so they're all private, you have to buy them. And the irony is that, I don't get too political, can't help myself, most of you know that. But you might be able to buy a wheelchair, but most of the wheelchairs or invalid carriages were completely and utterly useless in the society. The environment, yes, okay, that existed at that time, about 100 times worse than it is now. So you have wonderful, you spend lots of money, you've put out your begging bowl, and you get your invalid carriage, and all it can do is go half a foot in and out your own garden. So, not great advances there. And I want to read the other one. It's the invalid reclining chair on wheels. Occupants can lie down or sit erect in it. Made by National Chair Co. New Haven Con. Sent for price list. Mention the Century. Now, I'm going to describe this guy, what he looks like, but he don't look very happy, does he? And there's all men. I couldn't find one with women. He's kind of, maybe he's thinking, fucking hell, this is hard on my arms. Because he looks like he's made of wood and metal. And it says, adopted by US government in all its hospitals. So, you know, pretty much an advert for Trump's Medicare, I would say. And that's probably the good end. So, there we are, we're in the Victorian era. And we're not that brilliant on the old technology. Let's move on. And then we get World War One. I'm going to dash through now because I want to get to the technology. And I've referred here, come on, little literary poke. What am I referring to here? Which I spelt wrong.
Lady Chatterley's lovers.
Yeah, a touch of the Chatterleys, because Lady Chatterley's husband is a helpless invalid and injured in World War One. And this print shows, I realise there it's a bit Downton Abbey, isn't it? And it says, give your invalid his freedom. Give him a ward-way chair. But if you look at this piece of shite, it's like the maid is clutching, it's only got two wheels, and then it's a wooden frame, and it's just a bit strange that it's two women dragging it up a really ridiculous stairway, and he's smoking a pipe and looking very bemused. And who can blame him, really? I mean, what can we say? This isn't the place to go on about war, another bavard perhaps, but this is what he gets, and he's what is he, Lord Blanc with his pipe and his bank account? No, nicely leading into the next slide. Now we're getting to the point where money doesn't seem to count for anything. So I hope you all know who that is. The next slide, a man in a wheelchair, and it says presidential fail on wheelchair design. So who is it? Come on. President Roosevelt, because those of you who didn't know, he was a wheelchair user and he had polio. And it was kept hidden from the masses. It was kind of known but not really broadcast. And some interesting little factoids. He was held up by a Secret Serviceman, so he could look a bit big and butch and up on two legs, because it really did seem to matter then. And yet he was powerful. President Roosevelt developed the era of developing the atomic bomb, and the wheelchair is still stuck in the invalid approach. Oh my God, the time goes really fast on these bavards. So now we're going to dash on. And we are, what are we up to now? Up, we're into the 50s. Woo! 50s and 60s here. And we have a child on the left, still in an invalid chair. It's a giant thing, doesn't look very playful. Imagine that in the playground. Ugh. And I wonder if anyone asked her how much she liked this chair. And I can say to you that it was in the mid-60s that I started being a wheelchair user, and no one asked me anything, ever, about what I liked about it and didn't. You just given it, and it was nearly always adult side. And I did have to put the one on the left, no, the right, which is a picture of a man in a very, very strange contraption. And it's Professor Meredith Thring and his stair climbing chair. I mean, I don't know what to make of it, but it's the classic thing. There's little info available on this, and it does look very painful to use, and he probably had a sore ass too. And as with so many chairs and mobility gadgets, it's useless for living a life, and you can imagine. And I thought about this, and it's like, hey mummy, look, I can go upstairs and down again, but I can't do fuck all else. But I do love the name. God bless Professor Thring. And now, racing into the future. Come on. Here we go, Captain Pike. I'm sure many of you know about this. The Menagerie, 1966. And why is this funny to many disabled people? Because Captain Pike is in a sort of, you know, he's boldly going where no crippled man has gone before, and away from reality and into science fiction, and there's space, there's starships, etc. And he gets a badly made box with bleeping lights that can't even self-propel in this glorious techno-future. So, you know, this is like, what would Stephen Hawking say? It's not on. And the wheelchairs, there's a thing on YouTube. I don't want Tim to start waving at me because I know I'm cutting it close now. There's a thing in Star Trek, on YouTube, with Star Trek in wheelchairs, Star Trek wheelchairs, and I advise you to have a quick look because it's hilarious. And everyone's obsessed with the new Star Trek. There's Hot Wheelchair Guy, apparently, Star Trek Discovery. So now, next one, quickly, another wheelchair using science fiction. Make it so, but better, please. This is Professor Xavier in his very fancy flash wheelchair, and it's sleek, it's stylish, but it's the same level of technology really as the old invalid chairs. It's big wheels for no reason, it's very male. And yet it's a high-class fantasy scenario, and you know, I mean, really, come on. There's enough science fiction out there that's great. We're gonna go to the next two slides quickly, Tim, I promise. So here we have. Does anyone know what the one on the left is? God, where's all the sci-fi?
Star Trek is.
No, it's Prometheus, and this is where Wayland, her dad, gets out. And the thing is, I was very struck by the wheelchair, because it pretty much looks the same as all the other wheelchairs, and yet it's a super advanced technological earth. You know, there's spaceships and God knows what, and Wayland's wheelchair could be a bloody invalid carriage. It's so far in, you know, there's an android, sophisticated David. So where is the stretch of the imagination? In science fiction and in real life. There's a lot of other movies that have done that. But we're coming to the end now, so there's a quick, can we have the one with the... Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it? And we have this little debate, because it looks really great, right back to the future, because this is a glorious golden kind of wheelchair. There's a bit of debate, like Toyota did release this a little while ago. It looks like kind of car come wheelchair with a glossy, a pretty woman. We do get a woman at last, and it's very shiny. And I'm just going to sum up by telling you my personal connection to Toyota mobility, because I'm running out of time. This gorgeous thing wouldn't really do much for me. I couldn't get in it. It wouldn't really get you in your little kitchen in your social housing, really. And it would probably cost like $500,000. Next slide, because we're going to go to the end. There's me on the steampunk perambulator. And what I would like to say is that I was invited by Toyota Technology, watch this space, to write a science fiction story. Ooh, come on, ooh. they've been a bit awkward. It's good pay, but they've been a good, because they keep changing their remit, and I can't have a dystopia, I can't have romance, I can't have relationships, and I have to have green energy. I'm struggling with that. But watch this space, because they seem to really want me, and although they just the first story, which had a little one of their technologies in the middle, then they're just saying that it's got to be softer. I don't really know if Penny Pepper does soft. Final slide. Sorry, Ted. Just me. Thank you very much. You've been great. That's who I am, and I hope I come back. Thank you.